All right, let's jump right in. Today, we are going to break down the science of what makes a group of people truly great together. It's all about that journey from me to we. And trust me, there's a science to it.
Oh man, you know this feeling, right? That sinking feeling when you're in a group project and it feels like you're doing, well, everything. We've all been there. And believe it or not, understanding the difference between a group and a team is the very first step to fixing that problem for good.
So, before we can even talk about building a super team, we have to start with the basics. What actually makes a group a group? Let's look at the fundamental building blocks.
At its most basic level, a group is actually pretty simple. It's just two or more people who, interact with each other. They share some kind of common goal, and here's the key part. They influence each other.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. Every single group you've ever been a part of has these 5 properties working under the surface. You've got roles. That's how you're expected to act. Norms. Those are the unwritten rules, right? Then there's status, your social standing. Size. That's an easy one. And finally, cohesion. That super important we feeling that really holds everything together.
So now that we know what a group is, let's talk about how they actually behave over time. Because here's a surprise. Most project groups don't just work at a steady, even pace. Nope, they follow this hidden, predictable rhythm, almost like a clock ticking down to the deadline. To really see what I'm talking about, let's follow a made-up project team. We'll call them Team Apollo. We're going to watch how this project clock really ticks in the real world. So check this out. It's called the punctuated equilibrium model, and it shows that progress is not a straight line. It happens in bursts. Team Apollo kicks things off. Then they kind of coast for a bit. That's the inertia phase. But then, boom, stage 3, the midpoint transition. That's when the halfway point hits, panic sets in, and there's this sudden burst of urgency. They rethink everything, set a new, better pace, and then it's that final mad dash to the finish line. Okay, this brings us to a really, really important distinction. Just because you're working with other people, that does not automatically make you a team. The difference is huge. It's so much more than just a name. It's a whole different way of thinking and working. Think about it like this. A group is kind of like a bunch of solo musicians. Yeah, they might be in the same room, maybe even playing the same song, but really, they're each focused on their own individual performance. A team, though, a team is a symphony orchestra. Everyone's playing a different instrument, they have complementary skills, and they're all working together to create this one amazing piece of music that is way bigger and better than anything they could do on their own. And this chart just lays it all out perfectly. Look at the shift in purpose. It goes from just sharing information to actually achieving a common goal. And accountability, it's not just about me anymore. It's about us. The outcome isn't just adding up what each person did. It's a true collective performance.
And that leads us to the magic word, synergy. A real work team creates what we call positive synergy. It's that incredible effect where the team's performance is greater than the sum of what each person could do alone. It's that classic 1 + 1 = 3 situation.
But, getting to that synergy is not easy. And there are these hidden psychological traps that even the best groups can fall into, and they can absolutely kill performance. Let's talk about the 2 biggest dangers you need to avoid. Okay, first up we have groupthink. This one is so dangerous. It's when everybody just starts nodding along because the desire for harmony, for everyone to get along, becomes more important than actually thinking critically about the ideas. Nobody wants to rock the boat, so good ideas get thrown out, and bad ones get a free pass.
And this quote from our fake team, Team Apollo, just nails it. When no one wants to be that guy who slows things down by asking hard questions, you're not making smart choices anymore. You're making easy ones. And that can lead you straight off a cliff.
The other big trap is called group shift. This is a weird one. What happens is the group's final decision can actually become way more extreme than where any single person started out. So if people are a little cautious to begin with, the group might end up taking 0 risks. But if they're feeling a little risky, they might make a completely reckless decision together.
So the big question is, how do we dodge those traps and build that amazing, high-performing orchestra? Well, it all comes down to a clear blueprint for success, and it's built on 3 core pillars. Let's wrap up by looking at them.
Pillar number 1 is all about the context. Think of this as the soil you're planting the team in. You have to have the right resources, clear leadership, and maybe most importantly, a climate of trust. People have to feel safe to speak up. And you've got to reward teamwork, not just lone wolves. Pillar number 2 is the composition. This is about the people themselves. You need the right mix of skills, for sure, but you also need people with conscientious and open personalities. Roles need to be clear so no one's confused. And, you got to get the size right. Usually smaller is actually better. And last but not least, pillar number 3 is the process. This is all about how the team actually works together. You need a common purpose that feels meaningful to everyone. You need specific shared goals. You need high team efficacy. That's a fancy way of saying the team has to believe in itself. And you have to manage conflict and make sure no one is just hiding in the background letting others do the work.
So I'll leave you with this. The next time you're in a meeting or you're working on a project, just take a second and look at the people around you. Think about your purpose, how you hold each other accountable, and whether you're creating that synergy. And ask yourself, are we just a bunch of solo musicians or are we really an orchestra? Thinking about that just might change everything.